Hi, and welcome to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today from Perth is Kylie Dalton. Kylie's the founder of the wonderful Back on Track Foundation, and we're going to be talking about the intersection of AI governance and not-for-profits. Hi, Kylie, and welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Simon. I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, we're going to jump right in. You and I share a passion for governance and ethical and responsible use of AI. And there's some great guidelines out there and a little bit of regulation in 4 countries around the world. But it doesn't kind of translate down to your area of speciality, which is the not-for-profit sector, right? Or the for-purpose sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us a bit about that.
Sure. So for me, Simon, I have been in the not-for-profit sector for a very long time, but I am an early adopter of technology. And when AI came about, I was very excited about the potential of what could happen for the not-for-profit space. When you look at it from a global space, the not-for-profit world is one where we're always trying to get ahead or trying to manage up in spaces where we don't have the funds, we don't have the resources. And so I saw AI as being a huge leveler for any organisation that really didn't have those, the funds available. And so I really dug in. But governance and risk is my specialty. So as a fellow of the Governance Institute of Australia, I ensure that everything that I do is really ethically and focused on governance. So I started to look into what does Australia have available in AI around governance. And you know what? It might surprise you to say that there's absolutely nothing out there at the moment. We're trying, and the government's trying really hard to try and formulate something, but getting through with what is good governance around a technology that's still emerging and changing on a weekly basis, it's very difficult to do. So what I've focused on is creating a space where not only am I becoming an expert in this area, but I'm talking to as many different not-for-profit organisations around leadership in the area, leading from within their own organisation. And good governance comes from within. So it starts at whoever that may be within your organisation who's fighting this challenge to say, hey, we want AI, we want to be able to level up, we want to be able to build efficiencies within our organisation. We must start at the board level. We must start with our executive team. We must start in a place of what does adoption of AI look like for our organisation and what does good governance look like?
And I imagine that the ethical concerns are pretty major, given that a lot of for-purpose organisations deal with highly vulnerable clients or highly vulnerable members and of our community, and so you'd want to make sure that the ethics and governance were right on, right?
Simon, you're exactly right. So ethics is the fundamental underpinning of good governance for a not-for-profit. So there is so much that we can do with AI technology. However, if it's not human aligned, if it's not aligned with ensuring that we're protecting the vulnerable of our society, which is when most not-for-profits work within, then you're going to set yourself up to potentially fail. So starting in that place where you have a lot of people who work for a not-for-profit organisation may also not be very technically minded and also might fear a little bit of AI. So it's about using those change management principles and getting the buy-in, understanding that a board for a not-for-profit might be volunteer, so therefore and majority of boards in not-for-profit are volunteers. So the majority of them have dedicated their time and energy on a volunteer basis, but they might not be very technically sound in what's happening in the AI space. So it's about getting that buy-in and really digging into what matters for your culture, for your organisation, and then having a look at what AI can do for your moving forward.
Yeah, wow. You're not going to believe this, but we're almost at time. I've got a question that I love to ask everyone, and I want to tweak it a little for you.
Sure.
If there is a not-for-profit listening to this and they're just thinking about starting their AI journey, maybe they haven't onboarded any product or anything yet, what should they start with thinking about?
I think the most important question for any organization, even if it's a small not-for-profit, is what is the problem you're hoping that AI can solve for you? So once you can drill down on that problem, then you can start looking externally for what can AI solve. So that would be the first question I would ask.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of AI in Five and for the work that you're doing in the not-profit sector. And I look forward to chatting again with you soon.
Thanks very much, Simon, and a real pleasure to be here.